St. Patrick's Day is just around the corner, and every year I bake my family a nice treat in honor of St. Patrick's Day, just to, bring a little fun to, to the year, especially this time of year. Now, normally I make them a layered rainbow cake because it's a rainbow, pot of gold, it's perfectly on theme, and it's really fun and bright and delicious. The thing is, this year I'm craving cookies. I've been craving them for a couple weeks now, and I want to satisfy my craving. So I thought, why not bake some St. Paddy's sugar sprinkle cookies and accomplish both goals at the exact same time. So that's what we're going to do today. I think you are going to love these cookies. They are crispy on the outside and soft and chewy on the inside, as long as you don't overbake them. So that is my one and only tip that I have for you with this bake. Don't overbake, okay? As soon as you see your cookies getting a little golden brown on the bottom, remove them from the oven and let them cool. That way you will accomplish that, those two consistencies. Otherwise, they're just gonna be a dried out, firm cookie. All right, so goal is crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside. Another thing that's great about these cookies is that they are really versatile. You just switch up the sprinkles and you have yourself a different holiday. So if you love these cookies as much as I think you will want them more than once a year. So change the sprinkles, you have yourself a new day. Another thing that's really great about these cookies is that they do not take very long to make, and they're sugar cookies that you do not need to decorate, which is kind of nice, isn't it? So if you want something really fast, festive, delicious, this recipe is for you. All right, to start us off, you will need to preheat your oven 350 degrees. You are also going to need to take out in advance 1 egg and 1 egg yolk. It's in there. You want them room temperature. So that's what you have to do in advance. You are going to need 1 cup of softened room temperature butter. And for the sugar, you are going to need 1.5 cups plus some extra put aside for rolling the cookies in. There's a lot of sugar in these cookies, but sugar's in the name, so we got to honor it. Can't call them sugar cookies and not have a lot of sugar. You are going to need also some flour, baking soda, cream, vanilla, and almond extract. Can't forget the sprinkles. I had these green and off green and white sprinkles from my Christmas collection. I just had to pick out all the red. That just shows you how much I want these cookies if I'm willing to spend like 30 minutes picking out the red ones. But I didn't want to go buy some new green sprinkles, so I technically already had them. So made the best of what I had and changed Christmas sprinkles into St. Patrick's sprinkles. So it's a win. Now for the outside, you are just going to roll the cookies in normal white sugar. You don't need to get the thicker, crunchier kind. I'm going to do that for most of them, but I'm also going to try to roll some in this gold sugar. Just kind of curious with how it works. So I'm going to do a little experiment. In my mind, brown and gold on the outside isn't that appealing, but I also wanted to kind of go with like the gold coin kind of theme. So for a couple, I'm going to try this, but for all the rest, it's just going to be plain sugar. All right, so first thing we need to do, we need to preheat the oven. We've done that. We have our room temperature eggs done. Next is going to be creaming the butter and the sugar together. Here's our 1 cup of softened butter and 1.5 cups of white sugar. We're just going to cream this up until it lightens in color and is nice and soft and fluffy. Before we add in our eggs, we are going to just clean our bowl out, get all the ingredients back down together as one, and then we'll add the eggs in. Okay, here are the 1 egg and 1 egg yolk, room temperature. Heat it up just for a couple of minutes. Let's add in the remaining wet ingredients, starting off with 1 tablespoon of cream, then 2 teaspoons of vanilla, little dribble. There we go. Optional. Oh my goodness. There we go. A little more than a quarter made it in mine, but it's okay. All right, let's mix that together. Before adding in the dry ingredients, I'm just going to scrape the bowl down again. All right, dry ingredients now. Baking soda, 1.5 teaspoons. I'm using a 1/2 teaspoon, so I'm going to put, oh, I think I touched that. So I'm going to put 3 in. I do not want to cross-contaminate my baking soda. That would not be good for the future use of it. All right, and then the flour, 2 3/4 cup. This flour has been spooned into the measuring cup and then leveled off. Make sure you do not dump the measuring cup into the flour. Otherwise you'll end up with a lot of extra and then your cookies won't turn out the same. Won't be as nice, they'll be more dense. Okay, make sure you pulse now so your flour doesn't go everywhere. Okay, we're just gonna clean everything off one last time and then add in the sprinkles. Right, here go mine. Measuring wise, probably close to a 1/2 cup of sprinkles. There we go, doesn't need to mix up much. There's the dough. No chilling required because we are just going to roll them into sugar. So I don't recommend making these super small. Some of the cookies I make pretty small. But these ones, you want them to puff up. And so make them the size of a donut hole or Timbit, golf ball, that kind of size, okay? And I'm going to start mine off with my curious mind of the gold dust. I just want to see how these turn out. So we will see. And then yeah, my parchment paper. So I purchased this new parchment paper, a different brand, and it's not large enough for my cookie sheets, which is kind of annoying. So I have to section the parchment paper off. So I will not be purchasing this brand again. It's much easier just to be able to rip and fit. On your cookie sheet, I would do 9 cookies because they do spread. And so you don't want them spreading into one another. And they're gonna be a half decent size. So make sure with your cookies too that you're layering it really well with the sugar. It's a really nice part of the cookie because it adds a little bit of texture to the outside. There they are. So my oven is preheated to 350 degrees. I'm gonna bake these for 8 to 10 minutes. Again, checking at 8 just to see if they're a little bit golden brown on the bottom. If they are, I'll take them out. And while they bake, I'll work on the next round of cookies. My first batch is still baking in the oven, but I'm getting prepared for the next step now. Now you do not have to do this step. I personally like it. It makes the cookies look a little plumper. So when they come out of the oven, if you choose, you can just reshape them again by swirling them around with a circular object. So depending on what you have on hand and what size your cookies end up being, you can use a cookie cutter, a glass, a mug, anything that you can put the cookie or put over the cookie and just swirl it around, give it a little shake, and it's going to, number one, make the cookie a more uniform shape, but also plump it up a little bit, which makes it look super pretty. And it makes it really enjoyable to eat as well because it looks good, but it also makes it a little more condensed. So it's a bit chewier. Try not to cut off the edges of the cookie. So you see the difference here. Maybe I'll hold the camera differently. One sec. It does unify the shapes and just brings the cookie more into the middle. And so they are a nice thin cookie, but like I said, as long as they're not overbaked, they're chewy in the middle. And you can see here how light in color the bottom still is. It's just a tiny bit brown. That's perfect. That's exactly what you're going for. Any browner or much browner, they are going to be crispy cookies. Again, we are looking for soft, chewy insides. And so the barely baked is what you want. And these, I guess, they're not too bad, but they definitely are fine for St. Patrick's Day. But yeah, the colors aren't to me as appetizing as these ones. Here's my second round of cookies and just stirring them up a little bit. So this is the before. That one I unfortunately cut the sides off. Let's see, because these ones are touching. Ta-da! Yummy, yummy. Pretty easy, aren't they? They're not a lot of work. You can make them and bake them in, let's see, what time is it? Less than an hour for me. And all together with the size that I made, 25 cookies. So my second batch was the cookies I think were a little bit smaller. That's why they plumped up like this, where my second and third batch must have been a little bit larger. And I tried it out with the cup, right? With the cup with the third one. They barely went around just like the first batch. So they must have just been a little bit larger. So if I, again, was to sell, I would weigh them out so that I could have even results, consistent results. So yeah. That's a tiny bit smaller, a tiny bit larger. Quite a difference, isn't there? But they're both delicious. This is how the third tray worked out. So nice. I like them. The thing with these cookies, 25, family of 6, they're not gonna make it past 2 days. They're gonna be gone fast because it's like a lot of sugar and butter, but because of the size of the cookie, you don't get as many, so they're gonna go much quicker and they're delicious. You just let them fully cool now, and the middle will set. I know it can be a little scary at first because it still seems raw in the middle. Let it fully cool. Give it a couple of hours and they will be good. As long as you didn't underbake, which as long as your cookies on the bottom are a little bit brown, you did not. So it'll be okay. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. I hope that you will try these cookies. I'm positive you are going to love them. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. But make sure you come back soon to see what I'm baking up next. Bye, everyone.